Gravitational potential energy. There are two words I'm dabbling in out here: absolute and change. You also know, remember, drama. This is the fourth time we are addressing this concept. Fourth time. क्या बात कर रहे हो? What are you talking about? Yep. Once in work power energy. Okay. When general concept was defined. Next, spring. Oh, yeah. Yep. Gravity. Oh, yeah. Electrostatics. Yep. Hold on. You said gravity once already, mgh, right? Then why are we studying it again? Good question. Tell me. What are we studying here? mgh? What do you think is in store? mgh is for ground, and we will do with earth among many other things. Sir, come on. What's the difference between earth and ground? Ground is flat, because anything when you say ground, by default you are dealing with things which are very close to that point. mgh is not a standard expression. mgh is a very approximated way of finding gravitational potential energy when things are very close to Earth's surface. Now you are out in the universe. Now Earth is not ground, Earth is a sphere. So you are going to see the bigger picture of gravitational potential energy. Well, the drama says, kill the word absolute. What was the exact dramatic statement, by the way? There is no such thing as potential energy. Well, that's dramatic. Good. Caught your attention, didn't it? There is no such thing as potential energy. Then what is it? Two things. A, it's a mathematical convenience. We invented it, not derived it. Invented it. Okay. What's number two? Number two is it's only defined for conservative forces. Why is that? Because potential energy, for our convenience, is a state function. It doesn't care about the path taken. It wants abhi yahan, baad mein wahan. Right now here and then there. What happened in between? Don't know, don't care. So potential energy is a state function. And can you see? State function, path independent. And what are the forces whose work doesn't depend on path called? Conservative forces. Very good. Also, there is no such thing as absolute potential energy, but yes, change in potential energy can definitely change certain things. The definition has still not changed. Can you please tell me the definition? Try to recall the definition. I never said gravitational. The heading is gravitational potential energy, but what the dabba says, the highlighter says change in potential energy, no pre-adjective. What is the general definition? In general definition. Yeah. Change in potential energy is the negative of the work done by the internal conservative force as the system goes from initial to final configuration. Remember? Good. Negative of the work done by the conservative force as the system changes from initial to final configuration. Apart from the heading of the slide, anywhere can you see the word gravitational in the definition? No, because this is valid every single time. U final minus U initial is minus W conservative I to F. Come on guys, not long back we did this for two charges. Remember K, Q and Q2 by R. So what am I going to do now, sir? Two masses. Alrighty. Okay, let's do that. Two masses, M1, M2, right? What is the initial separation between them? R1. Ri or R1, whatever you want. R initial, chalo, theek. Okay? Ri. Now, it becomes Rf. Without the loss of generality, without being biased, for the sake of convenience, for the sake of simplicity, let's keep the mass M1 fixed. Because all we want is separation, right? Yeah. All we want is separation, na? Let's say the initial separation is R1 and finally it becomes R2. Big deal. Yeah, sir. But sir, R1 is bigger and R2 is smaller. So who told you? Who told you there is a constraint that one should be bigger than the other, that initial should be smaller? No. Fair enough, na? Right, sir. Is the modus operandi clear? Yes, sir. What are we going to do? Sir, we are first going to find out the work done. That is integral f dot dr and then put a minus sign. Ready? Ready, steady, go. Okay. Here are the initial and final situations. The force is a function of instantaneous separation. That means integration. So you have to figure out their position at any r. And now comes the dance of the minus sign. Out of every 10 students, 9 students, in my time, I was in those 9 students focus on the magnitude. Sir, you are grossly contradicting yourself in a span of 10 minutes. Just now you said, that don't be so uptight about the minus sign. And now you are, these are two different things. You know what? Work done by, work done against, work done on external agent, on the system, by the system, these things matter. One preposition can change the game. So let it be on me. I will tell you when the minus sign's representation is more important and when its actuality is. So right now, pay attention. Stop writing. Arch your back. Deep breath. Let's go. Let's say the separation between them is r. Okay. Let's say they move a dr distance more. Dr distance. Okay. What do you think dw would be? Sir, whose dw this is? The gravitational force between them. Okay. Sir, f dot dr. Very good. Sure, sir. Okay. Or dw is g m1 m2 by r square. Now, here is the kicker. Minus r plus r. See, that minus plus should be the representation part. I'll tell you what. Where is f right now? Sir, f is pointing towards m1, the fixed mass. Very good. Where is dr? Sir, it is going towards m1. No. So, dr is towards m1. Wrong. Wrong. dr means a very small increase in r. Your dr could be step anywhere, but its direction will always be in the increasing direction. So guess what? Your dr is pointing towards the increasing r direction. Sir, what does it mean? It means your dr cap and your f cap are anti-parallel. That means when you will convert them, the dot product into the scalar magnitudes, g m1 m2 by r square dr, guess what? Will have a minus sign. Oh, okay. Get it, sir. Or w equal to what? G m1 m2, okay, minus 1 by r square, okay, dr. Very good. Any questions? Any questions? No, not so far. What's the work done? Integrate from what? Sir, initial separation R1 to final separation R2. Very good. So W comes out to be G M1 M2 II square bracket integration minus 1 by R square is 1 by R. Agreed? Agreed, sir. Growing from R1 to R2. Nice. So W initial to final. Guys, don't mind me tiptoeing between R1, R2 and Ri, Rf. Please don't mind that. You get the intent part, right? So G M1 M2 1 upon R2 minus 1 upon R1. Is the work done clear? Please check. 30 seconds, please check. I hope it's not a problem. Did you understand the importance of minus sign here? Do you understand that I was not contradicting myself? Boss, I walk the talk. So leave it to me here. Here it is of supreme importance that you are absolutely sure where the minus sign is. In the derivation, once you get the result, then you can relax. Right? Okay. Things are not done yet. U2 minus U1 or U final minus U initial will be what? Minus W initial to final, whatever conservative. Okay. So U2 minus U1 is, now what was the work done again? Sir, GM1 M2 by 1 upon R2 minus 1 upon R. Put a minus sign. Sir, if you say so, here. Minus GM1 M2 1 upon R2 minus 1 upon R1. Ready? Ready. Even better. U2 minus U1. Now watch, I'm doing something here. Let the minus be out. No. Let the minus be out. I insist. Take GM1 M2 inside. Minus outside. GM1 M2 by R2 minus GM1 M2 by R1. How do you like the apples? Click. Look, you have best of both the worlds. They did not keep the minus sign. They let it in. But you know what? My way is better. You'll get to know. Sir, you are pretty overconfident. Nah, I just know what's going to come. My way is better. Trust me. Keep the minus out. You'll thank me. Right? Sure? Okay. Now, the alternative definitions. Very, very important. Let's say you are coming from infinity. Initial separation is infinite. And the final separation is, let's say, R. Initial separation is infinite. So R1 equal to infinity. And final separation is R. R2 equal to R. Put it there. UR minus U infinity equal to minus, what did I say? Sir, you said keep the minus sign in. So I keep the minus sign out. GM1 M2 by R, right sir? Minus GM1 M2 by infinity. And it's not a big deal. In their version, they keep the minus in, big deal. How can the result change? Yeah. What is 1 upon infinity? So 0. So you have a natural datum. You have a natural datum. Don't you? Right, sir. What is the natural datum? U of R, potential energy of two masses, M1, M2, when they are separated by R is minus GM1, M2 by R. Caveat, warning, condition apply, star mark sign. Please read the offer carefully, subject to market risk. And the risk is that U infinity is 0. Means that the datum has been chosen for them already. वो अलग बात है. That's a different thing that we don't mention this again and again. But hey, if we have a silent accord, we should know about it. Click. Get it? What's the difference between this and the K Q1 Q2 by R? Good. Absolutely. The minus sign. What is this minus sign doing here? Because it is always an attractive system. The force attractive system means like you can say it's a bounded system later. Right now it's not bounded. Let's not call it bounded right now. But the force is attractive. That's why U has a minus sign. That part is fair. That part is fair. Do we get it? The minus sign is there because the force is attractive in nature. And guess what? This minus sign is the most important. Now, yeah, so sir, what it represents? It represents attractive nature of the force. But this minus sign stays. Don't worry. We'll circle back because now why is this minus sign important out here? Because I told you such questions, there are only two options, 10 joules or 20 joules. And then they make it four options. How? Plus 10 minus 10 plus 20 minus 20. Since the answer itself is a catch in the sign, of course it's important.